This is the instructional video for assignment 5.1, shortcuts. Shortcuts does two different things. One shows you how to set up hanging indent paragraphs, which are paragraphs like these shown here, where we have some text off to the left and the paragraph is lined up with a straight left margin that is indented from the left side of the page, and it's straight on the right hand side too, so it's a fully justified paragraph. These paragraphs are excellent for catalog type setups in word processing where you want to label each paragraph with some sort of a title off to the left. The other thing it does is it shows you how to use control key shortcuts, shown here. Control Z, for instance, the undo command, Control X, the cut command, and there's a range of other control key shortcuts that are listed on the document. But before we do that, before we try to set up that paragraph, I want to show you a little example of how to do that. Here are two paragraphs, and these two paragraphs are set up with the word first and the word second as titles. So this is a paragraph about being first, and this is a paragraph about being second, and we're going to set these up as hanging indent paragraphs. Up on the ruler there are a couple of little items to pay attention to. The top bar here is the first line indent, the bottom is what's called the hanging indent, and then there's a little box down here called the left indent. So these three elements operate together. Let me click in the first paragraph here, and if I slide the box out, the left indent, all of it comes together, and as you can see, the left indent of the first paragraph is moved in. The first line indent, the top part, can be clicked and dragged separately so that the first line of the paragraph gets moved in. So if we want to indent paragraphs, we can set that indent that way. We set them up together. And if I move the bottom part by itself, click, drag, the body of the paragraph will move, but the first line will stay back here. The right indent can be moved, and the right side of the paragraph can be altered as well. And if it's a justified paragraph, and that's the alignment here, it'll straighten up on both the right and the left hand side. So we can modify the shape of a paragraph by moving these various elements around. It all depends on what's on the tip of your pointer. Note here that the tip of the pointer is on the hanging indent, and that will move the body of the paragraph, leaving the first line alone. If I click on the box underneath, which is the left indent, then the first line of the paragraph will move with the body of the paragraph. So to set up hanging indent paragraphs, let's set this back to normal. I can set up two paragraphs at the same time by clicking and dragging and selecting part of both paragraphs. I don't have to select the entirety of both paragraphs. I will set up a hanging indent of 1 inch. We'll justify them both. I can move the right side in too, just for the heck of it. There we go. And then right here, right before the word there, I'm going to hit the tab key. This hanging indent becomes the first tab stop. So if I hit tab, and click here and hit tab, I can have two labeled paragraphs where there's a paragraph about being first, a paragraph about being second, and the body of the paragraph that is lined up on the left hand side as well as the right hand side. Now, back to the control key shortcuts assignment. In this assignment, you're going to be taking our source file that has paragraphs that are sort of broken up. We have to put them together, and then we have to format them correctly. Now, the formatting we're going to do is the hanging indent paragraph as shown here on your left, and we're going to format the undo command and all of the commands in what are called small caps. And then we're going to do some bolding, some underlining, and some italics in there. Something that'll save you some time is shown right here, using Control Y to save time. Control Y is the redo command, and it will redo the exact last thing that you did. So, the first thing we're going to do is link up these paragraphs. So I'll just click here in front of the and hit backspace, and I'll do it to all of them. And that way, the control key shortcut becomes part of the same paragraph. I'm only going to do the first 5 or so. Then we're going to make them all hanging indent paragraphs. So I'll highlight some of all of them and just move the indent out. We'll move it out to 1 inch. and then I'll justify them. Now I just have to click in front of the and tab them over. And now my paragraphs are all labeled. So the last thing I need to do is set up where it says the save command, because as it's shown here, we've got it all underlined, we've got it all in what are called small caps, and it looks like we've got the word undo here in bold and italics. So the first thing I'm going to do is underline it, Control U, and then I'm going to go to Control D, and I'm going to small cap it. There we go, small caps. That's all I'm going to do right now, because that's the only things, the underlining and the small caps are the only things common to the entire range I have selected here. The italics and the bolding is just the word save. So I'll use a format painter, I'll double click on it, and by double clicking I can apply it to a new range of text over and over again. Now I finished that, so I'll just click on the brush to release it. Now double click on the word save, Control B, Control I. Double click on undo, Control B, Control I. So Control B is the bolding, Control B, and Control I is italics. Control B, Control I. Actually, I just hold down the Control key and then hit B, then hit I. I can see that Control S here is also supposed to be in bold. So I'll just go through and hit Control B. I'm doing the Control B with just one hand. I use my pinky and my index finger. That way I can use my right hand for the mouse and my left hand for the control keys. So there's the first section done, the first 4. The rest of them are done the exact same way. Good luck with yours.